Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to use Leonardo AI, a complete tutorial from A through Z. And the reason why you might want to stay till the full length of this video is you might discover some features on here that you may have not known about. So if you're a beginner thinking about what software to join, what AI software to join for your print on demand, maybe you're starting a clothing line, maybe you're selling your own designs, whatever you're doing, I can tell you that Leonardo or Leonardo AI is, I'm going to say right now it's currently my favorite. I'm not going to say it's worse or better than other softwares. I'm just going to be 100% honest and say my favorite. It is my favorite. So let's go ahead and get started into the software. So let's get started here. So on the top, you could see here we have Leonardo AI with 8,500 tokens that I currently have right now. I have two accounts. This one I literally just paid for the I guess you could say the premium plan just because I was going to make this video. My other account is where I keep my kind of like hidden art that I don't want to show publicly, because I do end up selling that art. But you could see here, 8,500, and I figure it would be a good, whatever you want to call it, a good video if I paid for the premium on this account so I could show you how it works. So we have the home screen, and the home screen starts off with featured models, and you have all your featured models here that you can sift from, okay? And these featured models are just simply the most used. That's not necessarily that they're the best, they're just the most used. And then here you have recent creations, which these are the most recent creations that got the most love. If you could see here, like this has 786 likes. I'll go ahead and give it a like right there. And this 664, and so on. I mean, we could go down the line. And I think there's like an algorithm here that uses both the likes and how recent the art is created. So like this piece of art has been around for a few days. It's got a lot of likes, but it's a little older compared to like something like this. But overall, these are all different kinds of images that you could see here. And the cool thing about this is that you can use these as inspiration for your own art. You know, if you want to create something like with this style, you can go ahead and copy or remix or something like that. And we'll get to that in just a minute, but I'll show you how to do all that in just a second. To the right-hand side, you have your upscaled images that are already upscaled in the home feed. Now, this is a big thing here. I want to give you guys take a big deep breath when you look at this, because there's a lot of insane art. Now, you might say, well, this looks exactly similar to this. And I would actually agree. They look very, very similar in terms of the art that shows up. But the difference is that sometimes art here doesn't necessarily have to be upscaled to end up here on the front page. Most of the time it is, because people are going to like images that are more attractive, and upscaling does allow that. But overall, pretty much the same thing. Okay, now I want to call your attention to these images. If you look at these images, there are these three icons. Like on this image, right under my mouse, you have this icon, that icon, and that icon. Let's go ahead and start off at the left. The left, that is referred to as an upscale, okay? So this image has been upscaled, right? The next thing we have is the alternate upscale. So the one right under it is the alternate upscale, and then here we have the unzoom, or the zoom out, and I'll show you the differences between them. So here we have unzoomed, okay? That's how the image looks when it's unzoomed. This is the alternate upscale, and this is the upscaled image. We also have here the no background, right? So no background is when the background is removed, and you could see that this image has all those features. Excuse me, the middle one was the no background one. And you could see here, this image has the same thing, this image has the same thing, this image has the same thing. I'll say this, that because you have to pay for the tokens on the no background, sometimes I do prefer to do it manually, because the results don't come out the way I want. Sometimes, not all the time though. And sorry, my mic got cut off for a second there. And here you have all, like I said, all these different images. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this section here. We have the trending, we have what's new, so what's been recently created by other creators. And then we have here what's at the top. So what's at the top is going to be all-time the greatest favorited ones. And you could see here the top one here has 2,193. Really phenomenal piece of art right there. And you can also do a search. So I can search for a picture of a wolf, for example, and I hit the search button. And you could see here, got some pretty cool stuff. I can't deny that. Really cool stuff. I actually really like this image. I just saw it for the first time. Really like that. All right, so then we have here, we have all, and then we have game assets. So game assets is in reference to if you're looking for like a style for, if you're building a game, like an app or something like that, you can have game assets all created through here. So keep that in mind as well. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the actual photos as promised. So if we click on one of these photos, you have here a few functions. You have the original, upscaled, alternate, upscaled, unzoomed, and no background. These are the different creations that the creator used when the image was created. By the way, this looks really good as a poster, just the way it is. I mean, we could take a look at that. Looks pretty cool. Then what we have here is the original. So this was the original. All right. And then as soon as it was upscaled, boom, you got the upscaled version. We have creative upscale. Okay. It was already creative upscaled. And then we have the download button here. If you want to download it, it will open up the link to the actual image. All right. Now you might be thinking, well, why can I, as a user, download other people's images? And it comes down to the fact that there's actually a lawful decree stating that any image created with AI, machinery, basically something that's not human, can be reused. It can't be copyrighted. Therefore, it can be reused. And so if you technically wanted to use an image like this, you technically could. There's really nobody stopping you. Now, I'm going to recommend that you don't. The creator might still come after you, even though it might not be lawful, but it could be annoying. So I really highly recommend you create your own art. If you want to share the image, of course, you can copy the link and share the image. Here's a section where you can view what kind of edits have been already made. So you can remove image, unzoom, alternate, etc. Okay? And here we have our prompt details. So the prompt details is literally what you're telling the machine to put in. And I'll give you, in a few minutes, you'll see how we actually input prompts and things like that. And then here we have is our negative prompt. Negative prompt is anything you want to remove from the image. So if you're creating and you don't want any flowers, you just type in the word flowers. Now, not always 100% of the time is the AI going to abide by what you say. Okay, so like here it says deformed. There might be some deformity in the image. It's perfectly normal. It is AI at the end of the day. And once again, it's just something to be expected. All right. So here we have resolution of the image, the date of when it was created, the guidance scale. Okay, the guidance scale refers to how strong is the prompt going to be in reference to creating the actual image. All right, here we have the step count, the sampler, the seed, the base model, and the initial image strength. Let me explain what each of these are. So the step count references to how many steps will it take to create this image. The more steps, the more graphically inclined it is, the more it will take, number one, the longer it will take to produce the photos. Number two, potentially the better quality it will be, and that's a potential, okay? The guidance scale is, once again, I already said how strong the image guidelines should be when it comes to referring to the prompt. So if it's a higher guidance scale, that means the prompt weighs more from a creation standpoint. Then you have here the sampler. So the sampler is how the image is created. What kind of engine is it created off of? There's a few different ones. You have Allure, you have Allure Ancestral, you have the Leonardo sampler. You have so many of them. So keep that in mind. And of course, you have your base model, all right, which is references to what version of Stable Diffusion are we talking about. So this is Stable Diffusion 2.1. You also have version 1.5 as well, which is a very phenomenal piece as well, and a very piece of software. Okay, very, very good. And then here you have, once again, the fine-tune model. What fine-tune model are we using? And that's Leonardo. And these are the different fine-tune models. In this video, you will see how to create your own fine-tune model. I'll show you that. Don't worry about it. So that's the homepage, okay? In a nutshell, that's the homepage, all right? And now you pretty much know how to do everything within the homepage. Let's go ahead and move on to the community feed. So the community feed is essentially an extension of just the homepage. This section where all the images are, that's what the community feed includes. So all these kind of different photos from other creators you can see, you can use, you can experiment with, and recreate here through the home. It's kind of similar. Just the difference is the homepage, you won't be able to scroll as far, but that's really pretty much it. Next, personal feed. So personal feed refers to the images that you created. So you can see here I created some images, right? These are all using the free version, right? And you can see here I created a whole bunch of images. I mean, image-to-image creations, just straight up images from just based off prompting. And I actually have a style that I really like, which is the style that you're looking at actively right now. And this is my personal feed. And these are images that are just also regular and also upscaled. So it's a mixture between them, right? If I wanted to view an upscaled image, I just look in the corner for like that little upscaled symbol. And you can see here on the image to the left of my arrow key or of my mouse, you could see it's there, okay? And you could see, like, for example, this is an example of an upscaled image, okay? So lots of those there. If you want to view all your upscaled images, this is a feature I really, really like here within Leonardo, is to the right-hand side, click on the upscaled button. And the upscaled button shows all the different upscaled images that I created, right? So you guys, if you've seen my free course on Redbubble, then you have probably seen these images. It's very, very likely that you've seen these images. They existed. I'll leave the link in the description to the free course if you're interested, okay? But yeah, you've probably seen these images. I mean, really cool images in my opinion, and trust me, they'll all be used for business purposes, print-on-demand purposes. And the cool thing as well about this, something that I might add, is because this is a tool, a software, a resource that we're using for our businesses, we could technically use this as a tax deduction, right? It could be a tax deduction. You just got to, document things properly, but very, very cool here as well. All right. So if you decide to pay for it, tax deduction, always great. That will offset your earnings a little bit more, which really does help. Okay. So I have a lot of different images. And here I created a bunch of gradient images, and you'll see how I created them soon. Okay. The next thing is our training and data sets. Wait, did I go over here the upscaled? Yeah, I think I did. All the upscaled models here. Anyways, training and data sets. So training and data sets refers to the training and data sets that you have created. So if you want the AI to create a specific style of image, you can have it do that. So here is an example called Spilled Liquid. This is a style that I created. I took 32 images or 25 images or something like that. I took a bunch of images and gave it to the software. And what the software did is understood what those images were, and then it will go on and create images in that style. So here is a model called Spilled Liquid that I created. And this model is special because I could actually show you an image that was created with it, which is one of my favorites, and I'll just go ahead and show you, just give it a second, give it a minute, because I'm going to scroll through a lot of different images here to show you what I'm talking about. Let's see, I'll go to my upscaled instead. Right here, we're basically there. This image. So I created like an image of, Batwoman, okay? And you could see here that this is a very epic piece of art using that very fine-tuned model, which is called Spilled Liquid. And on my website, I actually have a place where you can order that exact model. So here, I have the model called Spilled Liquid. It's a custom-made model. You can go ahead and either create your own, and these are actually images created from it. So you could see here all these different images. I'm not telling you to buy the model. I'm just simply showing you what I have done with it. And of course, it's on the website if you want to go ahead and access it. But anyways, that will be in the description box down below if you want to order it. This also is another image I created. This is the original. And this is the upscaled, which actually is pretty cool because it's almost like a comic book kind of feel. I really like it, and I tested a bunch of them, so that's a little FYI. I also created this sticker model, and you could see here, these are images that I created with my own model. So you could see here the model is called APPI Sticker Maker, and you could actually see the model that I created here. So I called it, the first one I created was the Sticker Maker model, and then I improved on it and created the APPI sticker model, fine-tune model. And you'll see that in a minute. But here we can edit our data sets. I can also create a new data set. So once again, that comes into creating your own model, which we'll discuss in just a second. Here references all the job statuses of all the models that you've created. So some fail. So this one says done. They're all done here. Some fail. Sometimes the AI is not able to understand the concept of model creation for the images. If you give it a whole bunch of different images from different scenarios, it can't really understand what's going on. Here are the models in fine-tune models section. Here are the models that are already created for you on the platform that is Leonardo AI, okay? And you have a bunch. You have RPG4, Leonardo Diffusion, which is also a phenomenal one. Battle axes, shields, all this kind of stuff. And if you want to see some of the productions, you can click on the actual model and it will show you the different, creations with it. So this is like a really, really cool shield in my opinion. And this could be used as game assets if you know how to create different apps and things like that. Which, by the way, maybe one day we'll show how to create apps for mobile. Okay, but regardless, you can see a whole bunch of different stuff here. Cute animal characters, very, very cool. Almost have like 3D effects. Very cool stuff going on. Here, what is this called? Deliberate 1.1, which is different characters as well. Very unique for sure. And this is vintage style photography, different model here. So a whole bunch of different stuff going on. All right. The next is we have the user tools. This is where you're going to be actually able to create your tools. But before we go into that, I want to show you, once again, how I created my own models so that you guys can create your own as well into the future. So here are the community models. These are models created by other people, right? So remember when I said that you can create your own models? These are models that people created and made them public. Okay, so you can see them in the different styles. Here, I have my own models that I created. So I created this model called Starry Night. I created another model called Gradients 1, which is hence why I created the gradients. You saw the gradients in my productive images that I produced. Excuse me. Spilled Liquid, okay, is another model that's on my website. Also, gradient. The gradient model right here. By the way, this gradient that you see and all the other gradients in my YouTube videos on my thumbnails are the ones that I use from this model. Stickers. Okay, so first model I created was called the Sticker Maker model. And I grabbed as many kind of cool images of stickers that I like the style of, and I made images with it. And with those images that I made, I took the good ones and I made this model with it, right? Called APPI Sticker Maker. It stands for Autopilot Passive Income Sticker Maker. And this sticker maker has made all these tremendous stickers for me. I mean, look at that. Okay? Look at this. All right? Look at something like this. Look at this, for example. I mean, so many good photos. Obviously, some have not been upscaled, but you get the concept. This is a cool one right here. So many different ones. And a good idea you could do with this is you can sell these images, right? You can sell them as actual stickers. For example, on Etsy, you can order a sticker printer and you could sell them, or you can literally sell the digital file. So there's a lot you can do. If you're really creative, you can make a lot of different ways to produce some income here. And this was a model that failed, actually, so I didn't actually make this model. But you could see here, these are my models. And of course, you have your favorite models. I never favorited any yet. Okay, and then here we have our user generation tool. So once again, you click on this AI image generation, and this is where you're going to be for the most part when it comes down to creating your actual images. And you can see here I tried to create all kinds of different images, and some are fails and some are cool. But we'll be able to show you those images very, very soon and how to create them. I'll just slowly get to it. AI Canvas. AI Canvas is where you get to select a particular area of the composition that you've created, and you can change it through AI. So for example, if I was to go back here and let's take this image. Actually, let's go for an image that I made myself, because at least it will have errors that way. So like, let's say this image, I wanted to go over here and I wanted to have it redone. I can select in the personal feed, so I can go over here to the AI image generation. I can select here. It doesn't matter what image it is. Let's just say it's this one. I can find the button for the edit in canvas, which is this one, and I can go ahead and do that. So that's what it will do, all right? And then texture generation is when you want to create a texture. This is in alpha, but you have to upload an object for this, a 3D object for that to happen. And I think I'm going to make a separate video on this because this is a little more complicated for just like a regular tutorial. And of course, here we have our settings, our FAQs, which is really not important. All right, so let's go ahead into creation. So the first thing we're going to do is creation through remix, okay? So the first thing I'm going to remix is, let's go ahead and see here. Let's pick a nice image that we can go ahead and remix. Let's select, interesting. There's a lot of different cool pieces of art here that interest me. Let's pick... Let's scroll up, actually. Let's go for something simple. Let's go for this image, okay? Let's pick this image, and what we're going to do is we're going to click Remix, just like that. And now what we're doing is we're taking the same details of that remixed image and inputting it, whether it comes to the fine-tuned model, the prompt, the negative prompt, etc. In this case, if I go back to the actual image real quick, I don't think they actually used, okay, they did use a negative prompt. So I'm going to copy that negative prompt just in case, and I'm going to hit remix, okay? And you can see here, for some reason, it didn't upload. Okay, there it is. Now it's uploaded, all right? The negative prompt. And then what I'm going to do is hit generate. Now, something that I will say is these are all the pre-made characteristics. I can go ahead and edit those characteristics from size, right, to the number of images, to the guidance scale, to all the different things, you know, the tiling, etc. There's so many different things. Now, something that I want to mention is my control net. So the control net allows you to influences the generations you input with, and it's referring to the seed. Now, in order for you to do that, you can, and refer to what a seed is. A seed is when you create an image, you have a number that is associated with that image. If I put in that number into the control net, aka the seed, then what I could do is I can edit the one factor of it. So in my case, I'm going to go over here to my image prompt, right? I can edit my image prompt, and these are the images that are created, by the way, from that actual image. So you can see it was created. And I can go over here, I can use image to image, I can do a lot of things, I can upscale, I can do many different things. And these are, once again, the same images with the same details that were created here. So I can here edit my different fine-tuned model. I can change my guidance scale. I can change the size of the image. I can also work with tiling and, of course, the control net. Now, in order to use the control net, you have to use Stable Diffusion version 1.5. You cannot use version 2.1. Okay, that's a little FYI that you may have not known. Okay, so let's say this example for this image you can't use the control net because it's a version 2.1, the base model. And I could go ahead and hit remix once again and hit generate, and I can see what kind of results come out of that. And in just a minute, I'm going to show you how to improve on that image by upscaling. So you can see here this image was created, and I can go ahead and I believe upscale is right here. Yep, creative upscale. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to upscale alternate. And I'll read you the definitions of two because there's two different versions of upscaling. The first definition is that you can improve a photo during the upscaling process. The second one, which is the upscale image alternate, is if you find that the original creative upscale change the detail of the photo, you can use this one for a more stable version. So if we go over here, this is the original image. Then we have the upscaled image, and this is the alternate upscaled. So the alternate upscaled is more closely related to the original. Okay, you can see the difference there. If we go over here to the upscaled, that's a lot more different. Okay, in this photo, I think they're both pretty cool, but I would go for the upscaled one as opposed to the other. Pretty cool though. Generally, I mean, there's not much you could say that takes away from it. Okay. Now, in terms of creating different images, you can choose for them to be public or you can choose for them to be private. You can also work with prompt magic. So prompt magic, I'll just kind of share what prompt magic is. And prompt magic, let's go ahead and read it, it is a beta, right? It's in beta, and it's their experimental render pipeline that may better prompt adherence. which basically what that means is that it can listen to what your prompt is more, separate from your, what is it called? The strength, right? The prompt strength, wherever it was here, it escapes me at the moment. But separate from that, you can actually create separately. You can have art that is more focused on the prompt. And sometimes most likely I turn this off because it does alter what I'm really looking to create in my images. So especially with the different schedulers and the things that you're using, I personally prefer to keep it off, but it's just up to you of how you want to do it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some other images from my old school style images. And this is actually what's cool about Leonardo here, is that I can access my old images. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'll go to my personal feed, and I'll scroll down to a certain style that I liked. And with other AI tools, sometimes you can't actually do this. Let's say I find an image here that I really like the way it was created. Let's find one here. I like this one, let's just say. Or actually, let's pick a different one. Let's pick something a little more. I like this, actually. I like this. This one is really cool for me. It's using 2.1, Allure Discrete, all this kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and hit remix here, okay? And when I do this, I'm remixing that actual image, and I'm going to hit generate and see what it comes up with, okay? So it's going to have a whole bunch of different stuff. And if I want, I could even turn off Leonardo style. It's fun to experiment. I could actually turn it off right now, hit generate, and you could see here it's created different style photos. If I wanted something a little more similar to what it was before, I can look for that image. I can go over here to my, and these are pretty cool creations. I mean, nothing too crazy about them. They're just cool. But if I go back to my actual image that I wanted to select, let's go to personal feed and scroll all the way down to the actual image that I was talking about. Give it a second here. Let's say, I believe it was down here somewhere, the one I just selected. I know it was here somewhere. Do me a favor, guys. Just wait by my side here. Okay, maybe I didn't. Not sure where I put it actually. But let's just say it's this image that I want to create. I'll go over here and select the actual image, and I could do two things. The first thing is I could actually save the image, right? Or I can click on this button, image to image. Now, the cool thing about this is it will slap the image here. Now, this is cool because when it puts the image here, it's creating based off of this original image. So I can click here and create two images based on this original image that was already created. If I don't like a certain aspect of it, I can edit what I don't like about it. So let's say, for example, I don't want it to have the color green in it. I'll remove green and I'll type in yellow. And I'll hit generate. And you could see here now the similarity. If I want to decrease the power of this image on my actual creations, I can just drag this back just a little bit, right? Initial strength, all right? And decrease it. And then go ahead and hit generate, just like that. And you can see here, now it has more yellow. This one is a little closer to the original, right? It disregarded my concept of, where I'm stating yellow, but it's still more similar. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So if you find an image that you like, you can have a creation based on it. And notice when I decrease the initial strength or the image strength right here, it created something a little bit more different, while these are a little closer. All right, guys? So there's a lot of things you can do here with this software, and a lot of things you can edit, a lot of things you can play around with, a lot of things you could do. So I could go over here, click copy seed, okay? And that is the image that is seeded into the software now, okay? And I can edit something small about it, right? So that's some small things that you might want to keep in mind. But this is, once again, a beginner guide. There's a lot more we can talk about with this software because there's a lot of these different hidden features within it. And if you want to see more, let me know. Put it in the comments down below. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out. Bye.